Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you thought you knew about money was wrong. Most people grow up learning lessons that keep them financially trapped. Work hard, save, maybe invest a little, and hope for the best. But life doesn't reward hope. It rewards understanding and action. Every financial decision you make begins in your mind. How you think about money will dictate the quality of your financial life. The wealthy know this secret. Money is a reflection of mindset, not just effort. Wealth isn't just numbers in a bank account. It's a lifestyle, a pattern of decision-making, a consistent approach to opportunities. If you believe money is scarce, if you believe you don't deserve it, if you believe that only luck can make someone rich, your actions will inevitably mirror those beliefs. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. You must start observing your thoughts about money. Every negative thought, "I'll never have enough," "I'm not smart with money," "I'll never retire comfortably," should be written down and actively replaced with empowering alternatives. I have the power to create wealth. Every day I make decisions that increase my financial freedom. My knowledge and actions compound over time. Money is often misunderstood because of myths passed down through generations. Schools rarely teach financial literacy. Parents may unintentionally pass limiting beliefs. Society celebrates consumption over accumulation. Most people are following a path that was never designed to lead to true wealth. The wealthy, on the other hand, approach life differently. They see money as a tool, as a lever, as a vehicle for freedom and impact. They understand the rules that are invisible to most: leverage, compounding, risk management, asset accumulation, and consistent action over time. Understanding the difference between knowledge and action is crucial. You can read countless books about money, attend seminars, or watch videos, but if you don't act on what you learn, nothing changes. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. The wealthy are not just thinkers, they are doers. They apply principles consistently, making small decisions daily that compound into massive results over years and decades. Start paying attention to how you spend, save, and invest your time and money. Track every dollar and minute. Notice the habits that create scarcity and those that create abundance. Replace fear-driven decisions with informed action. Begin to think strategically rather than emotionally. Every financial choice should be intentional. The first truth about money is that mindset determines your reality. You can earn a high income but remain broke if your thinking is limited. Conversely, you can start with little and create extraordinary wealth with the right mindset, habits, and decisions. The second truth is that money is neutral. It is neither good nor evil. People who claim money is evil usually have never mastered it. Money is a tool. How you use it defines its impact. You can use it to create freedom, security, and opportunities for yourself and others, or you can allow it to control you. Most people operate under limiting myths. Money is evil. You have to work hard to get rich. Saving alone is enough. High income equals wealth. Each of these is misleading. Money is neutral. Hard work without strategy rarely produces wealth. Saving without investing leads to stagnation. High income without discipline results in high expenditure and little accumulation. The wealthy know that wealth is built through understanding, leverage, and consistent action. Start observing your daily beliefs and habits. Write down each assumption about money and test it. For instance, if you believe that you can't invest because you don't have enough, challenge it. Start small. Even minimal investments, when applied consistently, can grow into significant wealth over time. Awareness plus action is the foundation of all financial transformation. The wealthy approach money with intention. They think in terms of systems, not single transactions. They understand compounding, not just in money but in relationships, skills, and knowledge. They protect their assets while seeking opportunities for growth. Risk is not avoided, it is managed. Decisions are deliberate and measured, not impulsive. Emotional intelligence is crucial because money decisions are rarely about numbers alone. Understanding yourself, your triggers, and your goals allows you to act in ways that create sustainable wealth. This is the beginning of your journey. Over the course of this audiobook, you will uncover truths that most people never learn. You will discover how to think, act, and create like the wealthy. You will learn how to avoid mistakes that keep the majority in financial mediocrity and how to implement simple yet powerful principles that, if applied consistently, can transform your financial life forever. Even small changes applied consistently will compound into life-altering results. This audiobook is your roadmap. The truths it contains are timeless, actionable, and designed to work in any economic environment. They are not trends, not fads, not gimmicks. They are evergreen principles of wealth creation. Start thinking differently. Begin to see money as a tool for freedom. Recognize opportunities that others overlook. Take control of your financial destiny. This is the moment where your mindset begins to shift, where awareness transforms into action, and where your journey toward true wealth begins. Most people live their entire lives under false assumptions about money. These myths are invisible chains that keep you financially limited. If you want to break free, you must first recognize the lies that have been programmed into your mind. The first myth is that money is evil. Many people grow up believing that wanting money is greedy, that wealth corrupts, or that people with money are inherently bad. In reality, money is neutral. It is a tool, like fire. Fire can cook your food or burn your house. Money can create freedom, security, and opportunities. Or it can trap you in cycles of stress and obligation, depending on how you use it. Wealthy people understand this and do not attach moral judgments to money itself. They see it as leverage to achieve their goals and help others. The second myth is that hard work alone creates wealth. Most people believe that if they simply work long hours, save diligently, and follow the rules, they will become rich. Hard work is important, but alone it is not enough. Smart work, strategic thinking, and leverage matter far more. Imagine two people. One works 12 hours a day at a job earning $50,000. The other invests in systems, assets, and passive income streams while working 6 hours. Over time, the person working smart will build wealth exponentially, while the other may remain financially stagnant. The difference is not effort, it is strategy. The wealthy understand that money is a game of leverage. They multiply their time, money, and resources instead of trading them directly for results. The third myth is that saving alone is enough. Saving is important, but it is only the first step. Saving without investing or building assets will limit your financial growth. The wealthy do not just save. They deploy their money to create additional income. They invest in stocks, businesses, real estate, and other vehicles that grow over time. If you are relying only on saving, your money will remain static and lose value due to inflation. Learning to make money work for you is far more powerful than merely storing it. The fourth myth is that high income equals wealth. Many people earn six figures or more but live paycheck to paycheck. The problem is not income, it is behavior. Wealth is created by controlling expenses, building assets, and leveraging income intelligently. A millionaire who spends as fast as they earn is less wealthy than someone with modest income who consistently invests, saves, and multiplies their money. Income is simply the raw material. Wealth is the outcome of smart decisions. The fifth myth is that debt is always bad. While reckless debt can destroy lives, strategic debt can create opportunities. Wealthy people understand the difference between bad debt and good debt. Bad debt finances consumption, luxury cars, credit card spending, vacations beyond your means. Good debt finances growth, real estate, business expansion, education that increases earning potential. Used correctly, debt can accelerate wealth creation rather than hinder it. The sixth myth is that you need a high IQ or special talent to become wealthy. While intelligence can help, it is not a requirement. Discipline, consistency, curiosity, and emotional intelligence matter far more. Many wealthy individuals did not excel academically but mastered principles of money, leverage, and human behavior. Success comes from learning how money works, applying those lessons consistently, and being patient with results. The seventh myth is that financial advice is always trustworthy. Many people blindly follow advice from friends, family, or media without understanding it. Even so-called experts may have biases, conflicts of interest, or outdated information. The wealthy do not blindly follow advice. They question it, verify it, and tailor it to their circumstances. Critical thinking and continuous learning are essential. The eighth myth is that wealth is about luck. While luck can create momentary windfalls, long-term wealth is rarely the result of chance. It comes from consistent application of principles over years. Think of luck as a bonus, not a foundation. Those who rely on luck without strategy often lose more than they gain. The wealthy create their own luck by putting themselves in positions where opportunities are inevitable. The ninth myth is that you should keep all your money in the bank. While safety is important, cash sitting idle loses value over time due to inflation. Wealthy people diversify, balancing liquidity with investments that grow in value. Understanding where and how to deploy money is crucial to protecting and multiplying it. The 10th myth is that wealth is only about money. True wealth includes freedom, time, relationships, and health. Many people chase money at the expense of life itself. The wealthy understand that money is a tool to create a better life, not the end goal. They balance financial growth with personal development, relationships, and health. To break these myths, start by identifying which ones you still believe. Write them down and challenge them daily. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering truths. For example, replace "money is evil" with "money is a tool that can create freedom and opportunity." Replace "hard work alone creates wealth" with "strategic action and smart work compound results over time." Replace "saving alone is enough" with "money grows when I deploy it intelligently." Awareness plus daily action is the path to liberation. As you begin applying these truths, you will notice subtle shifts in behavior. You will start making better choices about spending, investing, and time management. Opportunities will become clearer, and decisions that once seemed difficult will feel natural. The myths no longer hold power over you because you have replaced them with understanding. Many people fail not because they are incapable, but because they operate under false assumptions. The wealthy succeed because they see through the illusions and act in alignment with reality. They understand that money is a system with rules, and they master those rules. They focus on building assets, creating multiple income streams, leveraging time, and thinking in terms of compounding, not instant gratification. You can adopt the same mindset today. Start by auditing your beliefs, your spending habits, and your approach to opportunity. Take small, consistent steps to align your life with reality, not myths. Each choice compounds over time, and these small shifts in thinking and action will lead to extraordinary results. As you move forward, remember that debunking myths is only the beginning. You must replace them with actionable habits, systems, and strategies that work in real life. The wealthy don't just avoid mistakes. They actively build structures, routines, and knowledge that multiply results. Your journey to financial freedom depends not only on understanding these truths, but embedding them into your daily life consistently. Start small if needed, but start now. Commit to understanding the rules of money, testing them, and applying them. The difference between a life constrained by false beliefs and one of financial empowerment is just one choice: to act differently than the masses. These myths have been holding you back for years, but the knowledge you now have is your key to freedom. Every day you delay action, the world continues, opportunities move on, and habits continue to compound, either for or against you. Choose to act today. Begin replacing myths with truths, ignorance with knowledge, inaction with disciplined action. Your future self will thank you. The journey to wealth is not easy, but it is simple. Understand the rules, take action, and persist. By consistently applying these truths, you begin to think like the wealthy, act like the wealthy, and attract the outcomes that most people only dream about. Wealth is not magic. It is predictable, repeatable, and accessible to anyone willing to learn and apply the principles. Your mission now is clear. Identify myths, replace them with actionable truths, and begin building systems that generate consistent growth. Over time, these daily choices will compound into profound results. The path to wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. Focus on discipline, consistency, and intelligent action. Understanding wealth begins with understanding the difference between active and passive income. Most people focus exclusively on active income, trading time for money, whether it's a salary, freelancing, or running a service-based business. Active income has limitations. Your time is finite, your energy is limited, and your earning potential is capped. The wealthy understand this fundamental principle and focus on building passive income streams that generate money even when they are not actively working. Passive income includes investments, businesses, royalties, and other sources that earn without requiring constant effort. The wealthy also focus on multiple streams of income. Relying on a single paycheck is risky because life is unpredictable. Jobs can be lost, businesses can fail, and markets can change. Diversifying income sources creates stability, reduces risk, and opens opportunities for growth. One stream of income provides comfort, multiple streams provide freedom. Begin by identifying ways to generate additional income that align with your skills, interests, or investments. Even small steps compound over time. Assets are central to understanding wealth. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket, either now or in the future. Liabilities are anything that takes money out. Many people confuse income with wealth, assuming that earning more automatically creates prosperity. But if you spend every dollar you earn, you remain stuck. Wealth is not measured by how much you earn. It's measured by how much you keep, grow, and leverage. Understanding this distinction is crucial. Investing is an essential component of wealth building. While savings provide security, investments generate growth. Wealthy individuals educate themselves on various investment vehicles: stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, businesses, and digital assets. They understand the importance of diversification to reduce risk and maximize growth. Compounding is their ally. The earlier you start, the more your money grows over time. Even modest, consistent investments can become significant over decades. Financial education is non-negotiable. Wealthy people commit to learning continuously. They read books, attend seminars, hire mentors, and analyze financial statements. They understand that knowledge without application is useless, but knowledge itself unlocks opportunities. Learning to read financial statements, understand investment risk, and recognize trends separates the wealthy from those who remain stagnant. Understanding wealth also requires mastering budgeting in a different way. Budgeting is not just about limiting spending. It's about allocating resources toward growth. Every dollar should have a purpose, either to protect your lifestyle, invest in growth, or create opportunities. Wealthy individuals focus on asset allocation, ensuring that money flows toward investments and growth rather than mere consumption. Leverage is another critical principle. Leverage means using resources, money, time, or people to multiply results. Wealthy individuals understand how to borrow wisely, hire effectively, and automate processes to maximize returns. They do not rely solely on their personal effort. By creating systems that operate independently of them, they amplify outcomes and free themselves from the limits of their own time. Risk management is intertwined with income and wealth. The wealthy do not avoid risk entirely. They assess, understand, and manage it. They protect downside while positioning for upside. Insurance, diversification, emergency funds, and strategic planning are tools they use to mitigate potential losses. While many fear loss and stagnate, the wealthy embrace calculated risk as a path to growth. Understanding tax strategy is also a cornerstone. Wealthy individuals structure income and assets to reduce unnecessary taxation legally. They use retirement accounts, business structures, and investments to optimize wealth accumulation. Ignorance of tax strategy can consume a significant portion of earnings, so education in this area is a powerful lever for growth. Time management plays a hidden role in income and wealth. Every hour spent is a resource. The wealthy are deliberate in how they spend time, focusing on high-leverage activities, investing, building systems, networking, learning, and strategic planning, while minimizing time spent on low-value tasks. Time is money, and mastering this principle multiplies financial outcomes. The psychology of income is equally important. Many people sabotage their wealth because of limiting beliefs, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of losing what they have. The wealthy overcome these mental barriers by building confidence, creating habits of consistent action, and viewing challenges as opportunities rather than threats. Mindset transforms knowledge into tangible results. Debt can also be a strategic tool for income growth. While bad debt can be destructive, good debt can accelerate wealth creation. Borrowing to invest in appreciating assets, to expand business operations, or to fund education can create returns that far exceed the cost of the loan. Understanding how to distinguish between good and bad debt is essential. Networking and relationships impact wealth and income. The wealthy surround themselves with advisors, mentors, partners, and peers who provide insight, opportunity, and accountability. Access to knowledge and opportunity often comes through networks. Building and nurturing relationships strategically is a silent yet powerful force in wealth accumulation. Scaling income is another defining principle. Active income alone cannot make one truly wealthy. To scale, systems must be built, businesses, investments, and passive income mechanisms. The wealthy think in terms of scale. How can a single effort reach many? How can money, effort, and ideas be multiplied efficiently? Scaling transforms moderate earnings into substantial wealth over time. Financial discipline underpins all of these principles. The wealthy adhere to habits that preserve capital, prioritize investments, and avoid impulsive spending. Emotional control allows them to make rational decisions, even during market volatility or financial stress. Wealth is a combination of knowledge, strategy, and consistent application. Discipline is the glue that holds it all together. Understanding wealth also requires embracing the long-term perspective. Short-term gains may feel satisfying, but sustainable wealth is built over years and decades. Compounding, patience, and disciplined reinvestment are critical. The wealthy do not chase trends blindly. They position themselves for long-term advantage. Finally, the wealthy measure wealth differently. They measure in freedom, security, and opportunity, not just in dollars. The goal is to create a life where financial decisions enable choice rather than constrain it. Assets, income streams, and investments are all means to this end. You can begin applying these principles today. Start by identifying your current income sources, understanding your spending and saving patterns, and exploring ways to create passive streams. Educate yourself, leverage wisely, manage risk, and think long-term. Wealth is not a coincidence. It is a predictable outcome of specific, repeatable actions and disciplined thinking. The transition from active income dependency to financial freedom begins with understanding the rules of money. Once you internalize these principles and act consistently, you can build a foundation that supports independence, growth, and security. Every choice compounds. Every action matters. As you continue on this journey, remember, the wealthy do not have secret talents. They follow the rules consistently while most people ignore them. By mastering income, building assets, leveraging systems, and maintaining discipline, you can achieve wealth beyond what most consider possible. The principles are timeless. Your commitment determines the outcome. The wealthy think differently every single day. They understand that wealth is not a result of luck or a single decision, but a series of intentional habits compounded over time. While most people focus on immediate gratification, the wealthy invest in long-term behaviors that multiply results. They have routines, mental frameworks, and daily practices that create momentum, and this momentum eventually transforms into freedom, opportunity, and financial independence. One habit of the wealthy is strategic planning. Every morning they start with clarity about what matters most. Instead of reacting to every email, notification, or urgent task, they identify high-leverage activities, those that produce the greatest results with the least wasted effort. Planning is not about rigid schedules. It's about prioritizing actions that multiply outcomes. Each day, they focus on what moves the needle in their business, investments, or personal growth. Another habit is continuous learning. The wealthy allocate significant time to education, reading, and skill acquisition. They read books, listen to audiobooks, study financial statements, and learn from mentors. Knowledge, when applied, compounds like money. They understand that the world is constantly changing and that staying stagnant is a guaranteed path to mediocrity. Every hour invested in learning increases future opportunities exponentially. Discipline is a core habit. Wealthy individuals control impulses, avoid unnecessary spending, and consistently reinvest earnings. Discipline allows them to say no to instant gratification in favor of long-term gain. This is seen in how they budget, invest, and prioritize their time. While others spend frivolously or chase trends, the wealthy focus on building assets and income streams that grow steadily. They also master goal setting. Wealthy people do not vaguely wish for success. They set clear, measurable, time-bound objectives. Goals are broken into daily, weekly, and monthly actions, creating a roadmap to wealth. They track progress meticulously, adjust strategies when necessary, and celebrate milestones without losing focus. This habit of structured goal setting ensures consistent forward motion. Time management is another key habit. Wealthy individuals treat time as their most valuable resource. They delegate, automate, and eliminate low-value tasks. They understand that every hour is finite, and spending time on low-leverage activities delays financial growth. By focusing on high-impact actions and letting systems handle the rest, they maximize both productivity and results. Networking and relationships are habits that create hidden wealth. The wealthy surround themselves with people who inspire, challenge, and hold them accountable. They understand that who you spend time with influences your decisions and opportunities. Strategic networking is not about collecting contacts. It's about forming relationships that create mutual value. Mentors, partners, and advisors provide insight, opportunity, and guidance that multiply returns. The wealthy embrace risk as a habit. They are not reckless but calculated. They analyze potential rewards, weigh consequences, and act decisively when the opportunity is favorable. Avoiding all risk leads to stagnation. Embracing calculated risk leads to growth. Each risk is a learning experience, and even failures provide lessons that fuel future success. Investing consistently is another habitual practice. The wealthy invest in assets regularly, regardless of market conditions. They understand the principle of compounding and start early. Whether it's stocks, real estate, businesses, or education, they deploy resources methodically to generate long-term growth. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Consistent action is the real secret. Health and energy management is often overlooked but critical. Wealthy people prioritize physical and mental health. They understand that peak performance requires energy, focus, and stamina. Exercise, proper nutrition, rest, and stress management are daily practices that allow them to execute high-leverage actions without burnout. Wealth without health is fragile, so maintaining energy is essential to sustaining financial growth. Reflection and journaling are habitual practices that enhance clarity and decision-making. Each day they review successes, challenges, and lessons learned. They analyze what actions generated results and what needs adjustment. This constant feedback loop ensures continuous improvement and avoids repeating mistakes. Gratitude and perspective are daily habits of the wealthy. They recognize the abundance in their lives and focus on opportunity rather than scarcity. Gratitude shifts mindset, reduces fear-based decisions, and fosters patience. A consistent practice of acknowledging wins, learning from setbacks, and appreciating resources creates resilience and mental strength. The wealthy also practice minimalism in strategic ways. While some indulge in luxuries, they avoid unnecessary clutter that consumes money, time, and energy. Every purchase, commitment, and relationship is evaluated for return on investment, not just financially, but for time, energy, and focus. Self-education on financial principles is non-negotiable. Wealthy individuals study money flows, markets, businesses, and investment vehicles regularly. They know that staying informed provides the edge necessary to multiply wealth efficiently. They also teach others, share knowledge, and mentor, which reinforces learning and creates networks of opportunity. Daily reflection on long-term vision is another habit. The wealthy maintain a mental picture of where they want to be, not just financially, but in life. They consider the impact of decisions years into the future. This foresight prevents impulsive choices and aligns daily actions with long-term outcomes. The wealthy understand that success is iterative. They do not expect overnight results but commit to continuous improvement. They review failures objectively, extract lessons, and adapt strategies. Each step, no matter how small, compounds. This habit of persistence and iteration creates unstoppable momentum over time. Leverage is embedded in daily habits. Wealthy people use money, people, systems, and knowledge to multiply results. Delegation, outsourcing, and automation are routine practices. They understand that working alone limits potential. Building systems multiplies impact. Reading financial statements and monitoring investments is habitual. They are deeply aware of where every dollar is going and how it grows. Awareness leads to informed decisions, reduces risk, and identifies opportunities. Many people ignore this, leaving wealth to chance. They also practice strategic giving. Philanthropy, charitable contributions, or reinvesting in communities is a consistent habit. Giving is not just moral, it creates networks, goodwill, and indirect opportunities. Strategic generosity aligns resources with long-term influence and impact. Adaptability is another core habit. Markets, technologies, and opportunities shift constantly. The wealthy embrace change, learn new skills, and pivot when necessary. Rigidity is the enemy of growth. Flexibility allows them to capitalize on emerging trends and avoid stagnation. Emotional control is practiced daily. Wealthy individuals do not allow greed, fear, or envy to dictate decisions. Emotional discipline ensures rational decision-making under pressure. Every choice is evaluated objectively, minimizing costly mistakes. Finally, reflection on legacy is habitual. Wealthy people think beyond personal gain. They consider how their actions impact future generations, communities, and industries. Legacy thinking motivates long-term strategy, ethical decisions, and sustainable growth. By internalizing these habits, you are not just copying actions, you are adopting a mindset. Habits shape identity, and identity drives consistent action. By practicing these habits daily, wealth becomes an inevitable outcome. The wealthy do not leave it to chance. They create a life of abundance through disciplined, repeated actions, compounding decisions, and strategic thinking. Start implementing these habits today. Begin with 1 or 2 small changes. Prioritize learning, track your time, invest consistently, manage emotions, and focus on high-leverage actions. As habits solidify, your capacity for wealth, freedom, and influence grows exponentially. Every action compounds, and small, disciplined choices become transformative over time. The key takeaway is clear. Wealth is not an accident, a gift, or a matter of luck. It is the predictable result of deliberate habits, consistent action, and disciplined thought. Embed these habits into your daily life, and over time you will become the person capable of creating and sustaining extraordinary financial freedom. Managing money effectively is the difference between financial growth and stagnation. Most people think that earning more is enough to create wealth, but without discipline and strategy, income alone cannot produce financial freedom. Money management is not about limiting yourself. It's about making intentional choices that grow your resources, protect them, and allow you to leverage them for opportunities. The first principle of money management is understanding assets versus liabilities. Assets are things that put money into your pocket. Liabilities are things that take money out. Many people confuse the two, believing that high-value items like cars or luxury goods are assets, when in reality, They drain resources. The wealthy focus on acquiring and growing assets while minimizing liabilities. They invest in real estate, stocks, businesses, and intellectual property. Each asset is a tool for generating additional income, creating compounding growth over time. Budgeting is a critical habit, but wealthy people approach it differently. They don't simply track expenses, they allocate resources strategically. Every dollar is assigned a purpose: to protect lifestyle, grow wealth, or create opportunity. Discretionary spending is minimized, while intentional spending on growth is maximized. Budgeting becomes a plan for financial leverage, not just a constraint. Emergency funds are essential. The wealthy ensure they have liquidity to handle unexpected events without derailing their long-term growth. A proper emergency fund prevents panic selling of investments, allows calculated risk-taking, and provides peace of mind. Most people ignore this, leaving themselves vulnerable to setbacks. Debt management is another cornerstone. Not all debt is bad, but uncontrolled debt can destroy wealth. The wealthy use debt strategically, often leveraging borrowed funds to acquire appreciating assets. They avoid high-interest consumer debt and pay attention to terms and conditions. Smart borrowing creates opportunities. Reckless borrowing creates obstacles. Cash flow tracking is fundamental. Wealthy individuals monitor every income and expense, understanding where money comes from and where it goes. This awareness allows them to identify opportunities to save, invest, or leverage funds more effectively. Many people operate without clarity, leaving wealth to chance. Investing consistently is a critical practice. Money that sits idle loses value over time due to inflation. The wealthy deploy funds regularly into vehicles that grow, such as stocks, real estate, businesses, or education. They understand that timing is less important than consistent action and long-term strategy. Compounding rewards patience and persistence. Insurance is often overlooked, but vital. Protecting assets through health, life, and property insurance prevents catastrophic financial loss. The wealthy mitigate risks before they become problems, ensuring that growth continues uninterrupted. This strategic protection preserves capital and peace of mind. Tax strategy is another critical aspect. The wealthy legally optimize their financial structures to minimize unnecessary taxes. They use retirement accounts, business structures, and investment strategies to keep more of what they earn and reinvest it. Ignoring taxes reduces wealth silently over time. Strategic planning multiplies it. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Many people increase spending as income grows, nullifying any wealth-building potential. The wealthy maintain discipline, increasing assets rather than liabilities as earnings grow, nullifying any wealth-building potential. The wealthy maintain discipline, increasing assets rather than liabilities as earnings grow. Every additional dollar is used to generate future income rather than fund fleeting desires. Tracking net worth is a daily or monthly habit. The wealthy understand that net worth growth is more important than income growth. They monitor assets, liabilities, and investments to ensure consistent progress. By focusing on net worth rather than paycheck size, they align actions with long-term freedom. Financial education is ongoing. The wealthy read books, listen to podcasts, analyze markets, and learn from mentors. They understand that strategies evolve, opportunities shift, and knowledge compounds. Continuous learning is an investment that multiplies results over time. Setting financial goals is essential. The wealthy create clear, measurable, and time-bound objectives. They track progress, adjust strategies, and remain accountable. These goals guide actions and prevent reactive spending. A vision without a plan leads to wasted resources. A plan creates leverage. Wealthy people also practice strategic generosity. Giving money to causes, mentors, or communities is not just moral. It creates networks, goodwill, and indirect opportunities. Strategic giving aligns resources with influence, enhancing both wealth and impact. They avoid impulsive decisions. Emotions often sabotage financial success. Fear, greed, and envy lead to poor choices. The wealthy practice emotional discipline, making decisions logically based on information and long-term strategy rather than temporary feelings. Automation is a tool the wealthy leverage extensively. Bills, investments, and savings are automated to ensure consistency. Automation removes human error and procrastination, keeping systems running smoothly and compounding growth reliably. Reviewing financial statements regularly is another habit. They understand the importance of clarity on every account, investment, and asset. Awareness allows them to optimize, spot issues, and seize opportunities others miss. Many fail simply because they are unaware of where their money is going. Long-term perspective is essential. The wealthy avoid short-term thinking. They understand that wealth is built over decades, not days. Consistent investing, disciplined spending, and strategic planning create results that are resilient to market fluctuations and unexpected events. Patience multiplies money and opportunity. They also focus on multiple income streams. Money management is not just about keeping what you have. It's about creating new avenues for cash flow. Investments, businesses, royalties, and passive income sources create redundancy, security, and growth potential. Multiple streams reduce dependence on any single source and protect against setbacks. They practice accountability. Every financial decision is measured and assessed. Mistakes are analyzed to extract lessons, and successes are replicated. Accountability prevents repeated errors and ensures continual improvement. The wealthy embrace adaptability. Markets, industries, and opportunities evolve constantly. Those who cling to outdated strategies or refuse to learn new methods are left behind. Adapting financial management strategies ensures continued growth and resilience. Finally, the wealthy align money management with purpose. Wealth is not an end, it is a means. Money is deployed to create freedom, security, opportunity, and impact. Every financial choice reflects priorities, values, and long-term goals. Purpose-driven money management creates satisfaction alongside wealth. Start applying these principles today. Audit your assets, liabilities, and income streams. Track every dollar. Prioritize investments, reduce unnecessary expenses, and leverage systems to multiply results. Automate savings and investments. Educate yourself continuously. Avoid impulsive decisions. By embedding these money management secrets into daily life, you create the foundation for exponential financial growth. Every choice compounds. Every action matters. The difference between stagnation and financial freedom is deliberate, consistent, and intelligent application of money management principles. Wealth is predictable, repeatable, and attainable for anyone willing to act strategically. Begin today, and let disciplined money management become the engine that drives long-term freedom, opportunity, and security. Understanding money is not just about numbers, assets, or investments. It is primarily about psychology. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs about money shape every financial decision you make. Most people fail financially not because of lack of opportunity, but because of limiting beliefs, fear, and emotional reactions. The wealthy understand the psychology of money and use it as a tool to create consistent growth, security, and freedom. The first principle is awareness of beliefs. Many limiting beliefs are learned early in life. Money is hard to earn. Rich people are greedy. I will never be financially secure. These beliefs shape behavior subconsciously, influencing spending, saving, and investment decisions. Awareness is the first step. Write down your beliefs about money and evaluate whether they serve your growth or hold you back. Fear is one of the strongest psychological barriers. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of investing, fear of risk. These emotions stop people from taking the actions necessary to build wealth. The wealthy acknowledge fear but act in spite of it. They analyze risks, calculate potential outcomes, and then act decisively. Fear without action leads to stagnation. Courage paired with knowledge multiplies opportunity. Greed, on the other hand, can be destructive. Chasing quick wins or high-risk opportunities without understanding the fundamentals leads to losses. The wealthy understand patience and compounding. They focus on consistent, long-term growth rather than instant gratification. Emotional control is a critical tool for wealth accumulation. Mindset shapes financial outcomes. A scarcity mindset sees limitations and obstacles at every turn. An abundance mindset sees opportunity, potential, and solutions. Scarcity-driven decisions often lead to overspending, hoarding, or missing opportunities. Abundance-driven decisions create calculated risks, investments, and growth. Begin by consciously replacing scarcity thoughts with abundance-focused alternatives. Delayed gratification is a principle embedded in financial psychology. Wealth is rarely the result of instant rewards. It is the outcome of disciplined action over time. The wealthy consistently prioritize investments, education, and growth over immediate pleasure. The average person sacrifices the future for the present. The wealthy sacrifice the present to secure the future. This habit compounds exponentially over years. Self-discipline is a psychological cornerstone. It is the ability to resist impulses, manage emotions, and make rational decisions even when it is uncomfortable. Emotional spending, panic selling, and impulsive borrowing are behaviors that destroy wealth. Training your mind to stay disciplined allows you to make decisions aligned with long-term goals rather than short-term desires. Gratitude plays a subtle but powerful role in financial psychology. Focusing on what you have rather than obsessing over what you lack reduces stress and fear-driven decisions. Gratitude fosters mental clarity, resilience, and patience, qualities necessary for wealth creation. Many wealthy individuals keep journals of wins, lessons, and opportunities, reinforcing positive psychology daily. The wealthy understand the role of identity in money. They do not just act like a wealthy person, they think like one. Identity shapes habits, which shapes outcomes. By internalizing the identity of someone who is disciplined, strategic, and opportunity-focused, your actions naturally align with wealth-building behaviors. Financial confidence comes from knowledge and experience. The wealthy continually educate themselves, test strategies, and reflect on outcomes. Confidence allows them to take calculated risks, negotiate effectively, and seize opportunities that others hesitate on. Without confidence, fear dominates decisions, and potential is lost. The psychology of money also includes perspective on risk and reward. Most people overestimate risk and underestimate reward. They focus on what they might lose, rather than what they can gain. The wealthy balance this by analyzing data, calculating probabilities, and making informed decisions. They understand that risk avoidance often leads to stagnation, while calculated risk leads to growth. Emotional detachment from money is another psychological habit. Wealthy individuals make decisions based on facts and strategy, not ego, fear, or pride. They separate self-worth from net worth. Mistakes are treated as learning opportunities, not failures. Successes are celebrated but not allowed to inflate ego or drive reckless behavior. Visualization is a psychological tool many wealthy people use. By imagining desired outcomes, creating clear mental pictures, and mapping pathways to achieve them, they reinforce motivation and clarity. Visualization helps in aligning subconscious behavior with conscious goals. The wealthy also understand the importance of environment. Surrounding yourself with people who model financial intelligence, ambition, and discipline influences behavior more than mere knowledge. Habits are contagious, and the people you spend time with shape your psychology toward money. The psychology of money extends to resilience. Market downturns, economic shifts, and unexpected expenses challenge everyone. The wealthy prepare mentally for volatility, maintain long-term perspective, and avoid reactive decisions. Stress management, patience, and emotional control allow them to navigate uncertainty without derailing progress. Understanding delayed gratification and compounding also ties directly to financial psychology. The wealthy can forego immediate pleasure for exponential future benefit. They create systems that enforce these behaviors automatically: automated investments, structured budgets, and recurring savings. These systems reduce emotional interference, making financial discipline easier to maintain. Self-reflection is key. Wealthy individuals regularly assess their decisions, emotions, and habits. They ask questions like, did my decisions align with my long-term goals? Am I letting fear or greed influence me? How can I improve tomorrow? This constant feedback loop strengthens the mind, reinforcing wealth-building behaviors. They also study behavioral finance, the ways human psychology affects financial markets and decisions. Understanding herd behavior, emotional bias, and common mistakes allows them to act contrary to the masses when it is advantageous. They exploit market inefficiencies that fear and greed create in others. A critical psychological principle is viewing money as a tool, not a source of identity or validation. Wealth is a means to freedom, security, influence, and opportunity. When money becomes a measure of self-worth, decisions become emotional rather than rational, leading to mismanagement. Detachment allows clarity, strategy, and long-term focus. Wealthy individuals also embrace curiosity. They explore new opportunities, test ideas, and learn continuously. Curiosity fuels adaptability and innovation, ensuring that financial growth continues even in changing environments. Those who remain rigid and uninquisitive often stagnate despite intelligence or opportunity. Psychology of money is also tied to habits. Mindset, discipline, and systems create a feedback loop. Thoughts drive actions, actions produce results, results reinforce beliefs. Negative feedback cycles can trap individuals in scarcity. Positive cycles compound wealth. The wealthy intentionally shape their mindset to create positive reinforcement. They also practice visualization of obstacles and contingency planning. Anticipating challenges, mentally rehearsing responses, and preparing resources reduces anxiety and ensures action remains rational under pressure. Preparation strengthens confidence and reduces reactionary mistakes. Another critical aspect is patience. Most people quit too soon, expecting quick results. Wealth is built over years, not weeks. The wealthy accept that minor setbacks are part of the process and remain consistent, applying principles daily. Compounding rewards those who persist while punishing impatience. Finally, the wealthy understand the psychology of value creation. They focus on providing value through products, services, investments, or skills rather than chasing money directly. Money follows value consistently. Shifting focus from "how do I get money" to how do I create value transforms decisions, actions, and results. Start applying these principles today. Examine your beliefs, track emotional reactions, implement systems to reduce fear-based decisions, cultivate patience, practice gratitude, and focus on value creation. Your mindset determines your financial outcomes far more than luck or income alone. The psychology of money is the hidden driver behind every successful decision, investment, and wealth-building strategy. By mastering your mind, you control money. Emotional intelligence, discipline, and clarity of purpose compound over time to produce not just wealth, but confidence, freedom, and security. Wealth begins in the mind. Your thoughts, habits, and emotional control shape your financial reality more than any external factor. Investing is the engine of wealth. Most people work hard to earn money but never make their money work for them. The wealthy understand that money alone does not create freedom. Investments do. To create lasting financial independence, you must deploy your resources strategically, consistently, and intelligently. The first principle of investing is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets generate income or appreciate over time. Liabilities consume resources. Wealthy individuals prioritize assets that generate cash flow or grow in value. This mindset is critical because buying liabilities disguised as assets, like expensive cars or luxury items, provides temporary satisfaction but erodes wealth. Compounding is the most powerful concept in investing. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. It is the process where money grows exponentially because your earnings generate more earnings over time. Even modest, consistent investments, when left to compound, can produce extraordinary results. The earlier you start, the more powerful compounding becomes. Time is your greatest ally in investing. Diversification is another cornerstone of investing. The wealthy spread investments across asset classes, stocks, bonds, real estate, businesses, and intellectual property to reduce risk and maximize returns. Diversification allows them to capitalize on growth while protecting against unexpected setbacks. Most people fail because they put all their resources in one place, leaving them vulnerable to market swings or failures. Risk assessment is critical. Every investment carries risk, but risk can be managed with knowledge, planning, and patience. The wealthy understand how to measure risk, balance portfolios, and position themselves to take advantage of opportunities others avoid due to fear. Risk is not the enemy. Ignorance of risk is. The wealthy invest with intention. They understand that not all opportunities are equal. They focus on high-quality investments with long-term potential. Patience is key. They avoid chasing short-term trends or speculative fads. Emotional decisions driven by fear or greed often lead to losses. Discipline, research, and rational analysis are what separate successful investors from the majority. Understanding the difference between passive and active investing is vital. Passive investing includes vehicles like index funds or rental properties that generate income with minimal ongoing effort. Active investing includes businesses, trading, or projects that require more attention and management. The wealthy balance both, ensuring stability through passive streams while capturing higher returns through active involvement. Real estate is a classic tool of wealth creation. The wealthy use property not just for personal use, but as an investment vehicle. Rental income, property appreciation, and tax advantages make real estate a powerful compounding engine. They approach it strategically. Location, cash flow, long-term growth, and leverage are considered carefully before every purchase. Stocks and equities offer another avenue for growth. The wealthy study market trends, evaluate companies, and invest in businesses that produce consistent profits or have long-term potential. They understand market cycles and remain disciplined during volatility. Emotional decisions often destroy wealth, while patience and strategy multiply it. Business ownership is another compounding tool. Building a business allows you to scale effort, create multiple income streams, and increase value exponentially. Wealthy entrepreneurs understand systems, delegation, and innovation. Businesses provide leverage, the ability to grow wealth beyond what a single individual could earn working alone. Diversifying geographically and across industries is another strategy. Exposure to multiple markets and sectors reduces risk while creating new opportunities. The wealthy constantly analyze trends, economic shifts, and innovations to position themselves advantageously. Flexibility and adaptability are critical to protecting and growing wealth. Regular reinvestment is a habit of the wealthy. Profits, dividends, and returns are rarely spent frivolously. They are deployed back into income-generating assets. This habit compounds growth over time and accelerates financial independence. The average person often consumes profits, missing out on the exponential power of reinvestment. Tax strategy enhances investment outcomes. The wealthy structure investments to minimize taxation legally, using retirement accounts, business entities, and strategic deductions. Ignoring tax planning erodes returns silently, while intelligent structuring allows wealth to grow faster. Understanding the rules of taxation is not optional. It is essential. Time horizon matters. Short-term thinking leads to reactive decisions and losses. Wealthy investors think in terms of decades, not weeks. Compounding, patience, and consistency are far more important than chasing immediate gains. Long-term perspective allows them to withstand volatility, take calculated risks, and reap exponential rewards. Understanding market psychology is critical. Emotional reactions of the masses create opportunities for disciplined investors. Fear and greed often lead the majority to sell low and buy high. The wealthy act contrary to emotional trends, buying undervalued assets and holding through periods of uncertainty. Emotional intelligence is as important as financial knowledge. The wealthy also understand the concept of leverage. Borrowing strategically to invest in appreciating assets magnifies returns. Leverage amplifies gains but must be used carefully, as it also increases risk. Proper analysis, risk management, and timing are essential when applying leverage. Monitoring investments is another principle. The wealthy consistently review performance, adjust allocations, and refine strategies. Passive neglect leads to missed opportunities or losses. Active oversight, even for long-term investments, ensures optimal growth. Education is a continuous process. Wealthy investors read, study, analyze, and learn from mentors. Markets evolve, opportunities change, and knowledge compounds like money. Ignoring education limits returns, while continuous learning multiplies them. Psychology plays a central role in investing. Patience, emotional control, resilience, and confidence are more important than luck or intelligence alone. Emotional discipline prevents panic selling, impulsive buying, or overexposure to risk. Consistency, not luck, produces predictable outcomes. Investing also includes understanding exit strategies. Wealthy individuals plan for liquidity events, sales, or strategic reallocations. They know when to hold, when to pivot, and when to realize gains. Strategic exits ensure capital continues to work efficiently and create additional opportunities. Another key principle is alignment with values and goals. Investments are chosen not just for returns, but for alignment with long-term vision. Purpose-driven investing creates satisfaction and motivation while compounding financial success. Finally, the wealthy understand that investing is a lifelong process. It is not a project with a start and end date. It is a continuous application of knowledge, discipline, and patience. They adapt strategies, explore new vehicles, and remain consistent over decades. Wealth grows predictably for those who commit to the process and resist short-term impulses. Start applying these principles today. Identify opportunities, educate yourself on asset classes, begin investing consistently, diversify, leverage, and monitor results. Use compounding, patience, and reinvestment to create exponential growth. Wealth is predictable when you understand the principles, control your psychology, and act with discipline. Every decision compounds over time, and strategic investing is the vehicle that transforms effort into lasting financial freedom. Many people earn money but fail to grow or preserve it. Wealth is not just about acquiring money. It is about avoiding mistakes that silently drain resources and opportunities. Understanding financial pitfalls and learning to navigate around them is critical to building lasting wealth. The first common pitfall is living beyond your means. Many people increase spending as income rises, buying luxury items, expensive cars, or lavish lifestyles that create liabilities rather than assets. The wealthy avoid this by prioritizing financial freedom over social status. Every additional dollar is deployed strategically into growth rather than consumption. Living below your means is not deprivation, it is creating freedom and opportunity. Another major pitfall is lack of financial education. Without understanding money, investment principles, or the power of compounding, people make reactive decisions driven by fear, greed, or trends. The wealthy continuously educate themselves, ensuring that every decision is informed and strategic. Ignorance is the silent destroyer of wealth, while knowledge compounds like money. Emotional decision-making is a third pitfall. Fear, greed, and envy often lead to buying high, selling low, or taking unnecessary risks. Wealthy individuals cultivate emotional discipline, acting rationally even under pressure. Emotional intelligence in money matters allows consistent application of principles rather than being swayed by market hysteria or social influence. Debt mismanagement is another trap. High-interest consumer debt, credit card overspending, and borrowing for consumption rather than growth destroys financial stability. The wealthy use debt strategically to acquire appreciating assets, but avoid liabilities disguised as investments. Understanding the difference between productive and destructive debt is crucial. Failing to plan for emergencies is a subtle but destructive pitfall. Unexpected expenses, medical bills, job loss, or accidents can derail financial progress. Emergency funds, insurance, and contingency planning protect capital, allowing investments and strategies to continue growing uninterrupted. The wealthy prepare for the unexpected while most people are caught off guard. Another common error is neglecting diversification. Concentrating all resources in one investment, industry, or asset class increases vulnerability. Wealthy individuals spread risk across multiple streams, reducing the impact of unforeseen events while maximizing opportunity. Diversification is a hedge against unpredictability and ensures steady growth. Ignoring tax strategy is also destructive. Many fail to plan legally for taxes, leaving substantial portions of income and gains unprotected. Wealthy individuals structure assets, use retirement accounts, and optimize deductions to preserve and grow wealth. Taxes are not a burden for those who plan intelligently. They are a tool for strategy. Overconfidence is another pitfall. Believing that luck, intuition, or a single opportunity guarantees wealth leads to reckless decisions. The wealthy approach investments and business with careful analysis, research, and calculated risk. Humility combined with knowledge reduces mistakes and increases long-term gains. Failing to set financial goals is a subtle trap. Without clear objectives, actions become reactive, inconsistent, or misaligned. The wealthy set measurable, time-bound goals and track progress meticulously. Goals create accountability, focus, and clarity, transforming intentions into predictable outcomes. Another common mistake is neglecting passive income. Many focus entirely on active work, trading time for money, which limits growth potential. Wealthy individuals prioritize building passive income streams, investments, businesses, royalties that continue to generate wealth even when they are not actively working. Passive income creates freedom, scalability, and security. Impulse spending is a silent killer of wealth. Emotional purchases, lifestyle inflation, and trend chasing drain resources and prevent asset growth. The wealthy exercise discipline, separating wants from needs, and aligns spending with long-term objectives. Every purchase is intentional, contributing either to growth, opportunity, or security. Failing to monitor and review finances regularly is another trap. Many operate blindly, unaware of where money flows or where mistakes accumulate. Wealthy individuals review accounts, investments, and performance consistently. Awareness enables informed decisions and early correction of errors before they compound. Ignoring insurance is also risky. Protecting assets through health, property, life, and liability insurance prevents catastrophic loss. The wealthy mitigate risk before it becomes destructive. Many people avoid insurance to save money short-term, but this often results in larger financial disasters later. Procrastination is another subtle but powerful pitfall. Delaying investments, education, or financial decisions allows compounding opportunity and time to slip away. The wealthy act decisively, knowing that consistent action is more important than perfect timing. Small, consistent steps compound into extraordinary results over time. Succumbing to social pressure is a frequent trap. Keeping up with peers, buying to impress, or making decisions based on others' expectations leads to wasted resources. The wealthy prioritize independence, strategy, and long-term goals over social validation. Discipline requires courage to act contrary to the crowd. Lack of risk assessment is another pitfall. Investing without understanding potential downsides, market cycles, or contingencies can lead to catastrophic loss. Wealthy individuals analyze, diversify, and plan exit strategies. Knowledge transforms risk into opportunity, while ignorance magnifies exposure. Failing to automate savings and investments is also costly. Relying on memory or willpower alone often leads to inconsistency. Automation enforces discipline, ensures compounding, and removes emotional interference. The wealthy leverage systems to maintain consistency, letting compounding work silently over time. Ignoring legacy planning is another pitfall. Failing to structure assets, wills, or trusts can create inefficiencies, disputes, or loss of wealth across generations. The wealthy plan for the long-term impact of financial decisions, ensuring continuity, security, and growth for themselves and their heirs. Short-term thinking is a hidden trap. Reacting to temporary trends, panic selling, or seeking instant gratification erodes wealth. Wealthy individuals maintain a long-term perspective, understanding that true financial freedom comes from consistent strategic actions over years or decades. Failing to embrace continuous learning is another trap. Financial strategies, markets, and opportunities evolve. Stagnation limits growth potential. Wealthy people invest in education, mentorship, and skill acquisition continuously. Knowledge compounds like money, creating a critical advantage. Another pitfall is neglecting health and energy. Financial success requires sustained effort, focus, and resilience. Ignoring health reduces productivity, decision-making quality, and capacity to act on opportunities. The wealthy prioritize physical and mental wellness as an essential component of financial strategy. Finally, ignoring the psychology of money is a silent wealth killer. Limiting beliefs, emotional reactions, fear, greed, and impatience sabotage decisions. Mastering mindset, emotional control, patience, gratitude, and value creation is essential. Wealth is not just technical, it is psychological. Start implementing these lessons today. Audit your habits, beliefs, and financial decisions. Minimize liabilities, automate investments, diversify, plan for contingencies, and maintain discipline. Avoid common traps by acting intentionally and strategically. Believing that luck, intuition, or a single opportunity guarantees wealth leads to reckless decisions. The wealthy approach investments and business with careful analysis, research, and calculated risk. Humility combined with knowledge reduces mistakes and increases long-term gains. Failing to set financial goals is a subtle trap. Without clear objectives, actions become reactive, inconsistent, or misaligned. The wealthy set measurable, time-bound goals and track progress meticulously. Goals create accountability, focus, and clarity, transforming intentions into predictable outcomes. Another common mistake is neglecting passive income. Many focus entirely on active work, trading time for money, which limits growth potential. Wealthy individuals prioritize building passive income streams, investments, businesses, royalties that continue to generate wealth even when they are not actively working. Passive income creates freedom, scalability, and security. Impulse spending is a silent killer of wealth. Emotional purchases, lifestyle inflation, and trend chasing drain resources and prevent asset growth. The wealthy exercise discipline, separating wants from needs, and aligns spending with long-term objectives. Every purchase is intentional, contributing either to growth, opportunity, or security. Failing to monitor and review finances regularly is another trap. Many operate blindly, unaware of where money flows or where mistakes accumulate. Wealthy individuals review accounts, investments, and performance consistently. Awareness enables informed decisions and early correction of errors before they compound. Ignoring insurance is also risky. Protecting assets through health, property, life, and liability insurance prevents catastrophic loss. The wealthy mitigate risk before it becomes destructive. Many people avoid insurance to save money short-term, but this often results in larger financial disasters later. Procrastination is another subtle but powerful pitfall. Delaying investments, education, or financial decisions allows compounding opportunity and time to slip away. The wealthy act decisively, knowing that consistent action is more important than perfect timing. Small, consistent steps compound into extraordinary results over time. Succumbing to social pressure is a frequent trap. Keeping up with peers, buying to impress, or making decisions based on others' expectations leads to wasted resources. The wealthy prioritize independence, strategy, and long-term goals over social validation. Discipline requires courage to act contrary to the crowd. Lack of risk assessment is another pitfall. Investing without understanding potential downsides, market cycles, or contingencies can lead to catastrophic loss. Wealthy individuals analyze, diversify, and plan exit strategies. Knowledge transforms risk into opportunity, while ignorance magnifies exposure. Failing to automate savings and investments is also costly. Relying on memory or willpower alone often leads to inconsistency. Automation enforces discipline, ensures compounding, and removes emotional interference. The wealthy leverage systems to maintain consistency, letting compounding work silently over time. Ignoring legacy planning is another pitfall. Failing to structure assets, wills, or trusts can create inefficiencies, disputes, or loss of wealth across generations. The wealthy plan for the long-term impact of financial decisions, ensuring continuity, security, and growth for themselves and their heirs. Short-term thinking is a hidden trap. Reacting to temporary trends, panic selling, or seeking instant gratification erodes wealth. Wealthy individuals maintain a long-term perspective, understanding that true financial freedom comes from consistent strategic actions over years or decades. Failing to embrace continuous learning is another trap. Financial strategies, markets, and opportunities evolve. Stagnation limits growth potential. Wealthy people invest in education, mentorship, and skill acquisition continuously. Knowledge compounds like money, creating a critical advantage. Another pitfall is neglecting health and energy. Financial success requires sustained effort, focus, and resilience. Ignoring health reduces productivity, decision-making quality, and capacity to act on opportunities. The wealthy prioritize physical and mental wellness as an essential component of financial strategy. Finally, ignoring the psychology of money is a silent wealth killer. Limiting beliefs, emotional reactions, fear, greed, and impatience sabotage decisions. Mastering mindset, emotional control, patience, gratitude, and value creation is essential. Wealth is not just technical, it is psychological. Start implementing these lessons today. Audit your habits, beliefs, and financial decisions. Minimize liabilities, automate investments, diversify, plan for contingencies, and maintain discipline. Avoid common traps by acting intentionally and strategically. Every choice compounds over time, and avoiding pitfalls preserves wealth while allowing growth. By mastering these financial pitfalls, you protect your resources, increase efficiency, and create predictable pathways to wealth. Avoidance is as important as action. Every mistake avoided compounds like earnings, accelerating your journey to freedom, security, and opportunity. True wealth is not accidental. It is designed. Advanced wealth strategies are built on clarity, systems, and long-term thinking. At this stage, the focus is no longer survival or basic growth. It is optimization, protection, and legacy. Wealthy individuals stop asking how to make money and start asking how to scale, protect, and multiply it intelligently. One of the most powerful advanced strategies is leverage through systems. Systems remove emotion and inconsistency. Automated investments, structured savings, delegated businesses, and repeatable processes allow wealth to grow without constant effort. Systems replace motivation with discipline. When systems are in place, progress continues even on difficult days. Another advanced principle is scaling income without scaling time. The wealthy understand that time is finite, but value creation is not. Businesses, intellectual property, investments, and digital assets allow income to grow independently of hours worked. This is where true financial freedom begins. Effort is applied once, but results compound repeatedly. Network leverage is another powerful strategy. Relationships accelerate opportunities. Wealthy individuals intentionally build networks with mentors, investors, and high-value thinkers. These connections provide access to knowledge, capital, and opportunities that are invisible to the average person. Your environment shapes your financial ceiling. Advanced investors focus heavily on capital protection. Preserving wealth is as important as growing it. Diversification, insurance, legal structures, and risk management ensure that a single event cannot erase years of effort. The wealthy prepare for worst-case scenarios while positioning for best-case outcomes. Legal and structural optimization plays a critical role at this level. Business entities, trusts, retirement accounts, and strategic asset allocation reduce taxes and protect capital. Wealthy individuals do not ignore rules. They learn them deeply and use them intelligently. What is legal and strategic becomes a competitive advantage. Another advanced strategy is asymmetric risk. This means positioning investments where potential upside is significantly greater than downside. The wealthy look for opportunities where losses are limited but gains are exponential. This principle drives innovation, entrepreneurship, and high-growth investments. The concept of optionality is central to advanced wealth. Wealth creates choices. Choices reduce stress, increase confidence, and expand opportunity. The wealthy structure their finances to maximize flexibility, liquidity, mobility, and adaptability. Optionality allows fast action when opportunity appears. Long-term vision separates the wealthy from the comfortable. Advanced wealth builders think in decades. They plan beyond market cycles, trends, and emotions. They build assets that outlive them, businesses, investments, intellectual capital, and systems that continue creating value. Legacy thinking transforms behavior. Wealth is no longer just about personal comfort, it becomes about impact. Education, philanthropy, family security, and contribution shape decisions. Legacy thinking creates discipline, patience, and responsibility. Wealth gains meaning when it extends beyond the individual. Another advanced principle is decision quality. Wealth compounds through consistent, high-quality decisions made over time. Wealthy individuals reduce decision fatigue by simplifying choices, delegating low-value tasks, and focusing energy on strategic thinking. Fewer decisions, made better, create exponential outcomes. Energy management becomes more important than time management. Financial success requires clarity, focus, and resilience. The wealthy protect their mental and physical energy aggressively. Rest, health, and reflection are treated as assets, not luxuries. Burnout destroys decision-making quality. Advanced wealth builders understand cycles. Economic cycles, market cycles, and personal cycles all affect outcomes. They prepare during expansion and protect during contraction. They do not panic during downturns or become reckless during booms. Emotional neutrality allows strategic advantage. Wealthy individuals also master patience. They wait for the right opportunities instead of forcing action. Patience allows clarity, better positioning, and higher probability outcomes. Rushed decisions often create losses. Patient decisions create leverage. At the highest level, money becomes a tool for freedom, not stress. Anxiety disappears because systems, reserves, and strategy replace uncertainty. At higher levels, learning shifts from information to judgment. The wealthy are not consuming endless content. They are refining decision quality. They focus on thinking better, not knowing more. Wisdom compounds faster than raw information. Wealth also teaches restraint. Just because you can afford something does not mean you should buy it. Discipline becomes internal, not forced. The wealthy value freedom more than possessions, control more than appearance. Another advanced principle is strategic generosity. Wealthy individuals give intentionally, not emotionally. Giving becomes aligned with values, impact, and long-term contribution. Strategic generosity strengthens purpose and reinforces abundance mindset without creating dependency. As wealth grows, identity becomes more important than goals. Goals can be achieved and forgotten, but identity governs behavior permanently. Seeing yourself as disciplined, patient, and strategic ensures consistency regardless of circumstances. The wealthy also develop long memory and short emotion. They remember lessons but release emotional weight. They do not carry resentment, regret, or ego into future decisions. Emotional baggage clouds judgment and slows progress. Another realization is that wealth does not eliminate problems, it upgrades them. Higher-level problems require higher-level thinking. Complaints are replaced with responsibility. Blame is replaced with ownership. This mindset allows continued growth instead of frustration. At this stage, money becomes feedback. It reflects clarity, discipline, and value creation. When income grows, systems are working. When it slows, adjustments are needed. Emotion is removed from interpretation. Finally, the wealthy understand that enough is a powerful concept. Endless chasing leads to burnout. Knowing what enough looks like creates peace, gratitude, and focus. Wealth serves life, not the other way around. If you apply these principles, money stops feeling heavy. Decisions become calmer, progress becomes predictable, and wealth becomes sustainable, not fragile. At the highest levels of financial maturity, wealth becomes less about accumulation and more about alignment. When money aligns with values, decisions feel lighter, progress feels natural, and stress begins to dissolve. Misalignment creates conflict, even with abundance. Alignment creates peace, even before abundance arrives. Wealthy individuals understand that clarity is more valuable than cash flow. Clear priorities eliminate confusion, hesitation, and waste. When you know exactly what matters, money naturally flows toward those outcomes. Confusion is expensive. Clarity is profitable. Another advanced realization is that urgency is often an illusion. Most decisions do not require speed. They require accuracy. The wealthy slow down critical decisions and speed up execution only after clarity is achieved. Calm thinking outperforms rushed action every time. At this level, boundaries become essential. Wealthy people protect their time, attention, and emotional energy deliberately. Not everyone deserves access. Boundaries are not selfish, they are strategic. Without boundaries, resources leak silently. Wealth also reshapes relationships. Financial growth can create distance if communication and values are not aligned. The wealthy invest in honest conversations, shared goals, and emotional intelligence. Money amplifies relationship dynamics. It does not fix them. Another deep truth is that financial independence changes how risk feels. Risks become calculated rather than frightening. Fear loses control because survival is no longer threatened. This emotional shift allows better opportunities to be recognized and seized. At higher levels, rest becomes a productivity tool. The wealthy understand that recovery enhances clarity. Mental space improves judgment. Overworking dulls perception and increases mistakes. Sustainable success requires cycles of focus and renewal. Wealth also teaches humility. Markets, businesses, and life will always remain unpredictable. Arrogance invites blind spots. The wealthy remain curious, adaptable, and open to learning. Flexibility preserves relevance. Another advanced principle is long-term reputation thinking. Every decision leaves a trace. Wealthy individuals protect trust carefully, knowing reputation compounds slower than money, but lasts longer. Once damaged, it limits future opportunities. As financial pressure decreases, purpose becomes more important. Money without purpose creates emptiness. Purpose without money creates stress. When the two align, fulfillment emerges. Wealth becomes a tool for contribution, not just consumption. At this stage, comparison loses its power. Progress is measured internally, not socially. The wealthy understand that everyone's timeline is different. Envy fades, replaced by focus. Wealth also reveals the importance of self-trust. External validation becomes irrelevant. Decisions are guided by principles rather than opinions. Confidence grows quietly, rooted in experience rather than applause. Another realization is that true freedom is control over attention. When money no longer dictates choices, focus shifts to what truly matters. Attention becomes the most valuable currency. Where it goes, life follows. At advanced levels, learning becomes selective. The wealthy filter information aggressively. Not all knowledge is useful. Depth replaces breadth. Mastery replaces curiosity without direction. Wealth also encourages reflection. Time is taken to review decisions, patterns, and outcomes. Reflection sharpens intuition and strengthens future judgment. Eventually, success becomes quiet. There is no urgency to prove anything, no pressure to impress. Peace replaces ambition-driven stress. This is not complacency. It is mastery. If you reach this level, money becomes supportive rather than demanding. Life feels intentional. Decisions feel grounded, and progress feels sustainable. This is not the end of the journey. It is the refinement stage. Fewer moves, better moves, deeper impact. At this stage of the journey, wealth stops being something you chase and becomes something you steward. Stewardship means responsibility, awareness, and intention. Money is no longer emotional fuel. It is structured energy. How you manage it reflects how you manage your life. The wealthy understand that consistency beats intensity. Small, intelligent actions repeated over time outperform dramatic effort followed by burnout. There is no rush. Momentum is built quietly, protected carefully, and sustained deliberately. Another powerful realization is that freedom comes from predictability. When systems are strong, outcomes become reliable. Income stabilizes, stress decreases, decisions simplify, chaos fades. Predictability is not boring, it is liberating. At higher levels, wealth teaches restraint in speech and action. Not every thought needs expression, not every opportunity deserves attention. The wealthy conserve energy for what truly matters. Silence becomes a form of strength. Money also sharpens awareness of time. Time wasted can never be recovered, but time invested compounds like capital. Wealthy individuals design days intentionally. They protect mornings, control distractions, and prioritize thinking over reacting. Another advanced truth is that clarity creates speed. When values are defined and systems are aligned, execution becomes effortless. Hesitation disappears. Confidence grows. Progress accelerates without force. At this level, money becomes feedback rather than identity. Wins do not inflate ego. Losses do not create panic. Everything becomes data. This emotional neutrality allows long-term dominance rather than short-term excitement. The wealthy also learn that independence requires discomfort. Thinking independently, acting patiently, and waiting while others rush is uncomfortable. But this discomfort is the price of freedom. Most people avoid it and pay a higher price later. As wealth stabilizes, generosity becomes intentional. Giving is not driven by guilt or pressure, but by purpose. Strategic generosity strengthens meaning and reinforces abundance without sacrificing stability. Another realization is that wealth grows best in calm environments. Drama, conflict, and emotional chaos drain focus. The wealthy remove unnecessary turbulence from their lives. Peace becomes a strategic advantage. At this stage, legacy thinking deepens. Decisions are made with future impact in mind. Short-term wins are sacrificed for long-term stability. Wealth becomes something to preserve, guide, and pass forward responsibly. Money also reveals the importance of inner alignment. When actions align with values, motivation becomes natural. There is no force, no guilt, no resistance. Progress feels clean and sustainable. Eventually, ambition evolves. It becomes quieter, wiser, and more selective. The drive to prove is replaced by the desire to build something meaningful and enduring. If you are listening to this and recognizing yourself changing, that is not accidental. Awareness precedes transformation. You are no longer consuming information, you are refining judgment. And now comes the most important reminder. Knowledge alone does nothing. Insight without action fades. Wealth is built by those who apply what they learn consistently, even when no one is watching. If this audiobook has helped you think differently about money, discipline, or long-term freedom, do not let it stop here. Apply one principle today. Automate one system. Remove one bad habit. Make one intelligent decision that your future self will thank you for. They prevent small problems from becoming large ones. They allow you to stay calm when others rush. At this point, money becomes less interesting than mastery. You are no longer impressed by numbers alone. You respect process, discipline, and long-term thinking. You recognize quality instantly because you've built it yourself. The final refinement is trust. Trust in systems. Trust in patience. Trust in compounding. You no longer feel the need to control everything. You guide, review, and adjust. But you let time do its work. If you are listening to this and feeling a quiet confidence rather than excitement, that is a sign of maturity. Loud motivation fades. Calm certainty lasts. Stay here. Build slowly. Think clearly. Protect your peace. Wealth rewards those who respect time more than speed. And if this kind of thinking helps you stay grounded, focused, and disciplined, remain connected with the motivational audiobook spot. Subscribe, return often, and use these audiobooks as mental reinforcement, not entertainment. Because mastery is not built in moments of inspiration. It is built through repeated exposure to the right ideas, applied consistently over time. Your progress is already underway. Keep going. Eventually, you stop asking whether you are doing enough and start trusting the process you have built. Doubt fades because evidence replaces hope. Systems prove themselves. Habits hold under pressure. This is when confidence becomes quiet and unshakable. You realize that most breakthroughs are not dramatic moments, but accumulations, small decisions stacked patiently, days that looked ordinary at the time but powerful in hindsight. Wealth respects those who show up consistently when nothing exciting seems to be happening. At this level, urgency disappears. There is no rush to arrive because you understand that arrival is temporary, but direction is permanent. You focus on staying aligned rather than accelerating blindly. Direction creates freedom faster than speed ever could. You also begin to notice how much mental energy is saved by clarity. When priorities are defined, distractions lose power. When values are clear, temptation weakens. When rules exist, decisions become effortless. Money becomes background noise, not because it is unimportant, but because it is under control. Stress around finances fades, replaced by awareness and intention. You are no longer managing money emotionally, you are managing it strategically. Another shift happens internally. You stop trying to convince anyone of your progress. There is nothing to prove. Progress becomes personal. Peace replaces performance. You learn to wait, not passively, but patiently. Waiting with preparation. Waiting with margin. Waiting with clarity. This ability alone separates long-term winners from short-term chasers. At this stage, wealth teaches responsibility at a deeper level. Responsibility for outcomes. Responsibility for discipline. Responsibility for protecting what you have built. Blame disappears because ownership feels natural. You also begin to appreciate silence. Silence to think. Silence to reflect. Silence to reset. In silence, judgment sharpens and intuition strengthens. Noise weakens both. The final refinement is consistency without force. You do the right things because they are who you are now, not because you are chasing a result. Identity drives action effortlessly. If you are listening to this and feel calm rather than motivated, that is progress. Calm means alignment. Calm means control. Calm means you are no longer fighting yourself. Stay here. Maintain discipline. Protect your systems. Let time compound everything you've built. And if this audiobook helps you maintain that clarity and discipline, remain connected with the motivational audiobook spot. Subscribe, return often, and use these sessions as reinforcement for long-term thinking and intentional living. Because success is not loud, it is consistent. Over time, you begin to trust boredom more than excitement. Excitement fades quickly. Boredom, when paired with discipline, builds empires. The wealthy learn to fall in love with the ordinary routines that quietly produce extraordinary outcomes. You stop mistaking movement for progress. Being busy no longer impresses you. Results matter. Stability matters. Momentum matters. Everything else is noise. Another subtle shift happens. You become harder to disturb. Market swings, opinions, and external pressure lose their grip. Your decisions are anchored in principles, not emotion. Calm becomes your competitive advantage. At this level, you recognize that most people are not wrong. They are just impatient. They quit before compounding shows its power. You don't. You stay. You repeat. You refine. Money is no longer a source of identity. It is a measurement tool. When it grows, you analyze what worked. When it slows, you adjust. There is no drama, only data. You also become selective about input. Not all information deserves attention. Not all voices deserve access. Mental diet becomes as important as financial diet. Wealth teaches you to think in probabilities, not guarantees. You stop expecting certainty. You position yourself intelligently and let averages work in your favor over time. Another realization is that freedom is fragile without structure. Structure protects freedom. Rules protect peace. Systems protect progress. You begin to design life backward, from how you want your days to feel, not how impressive they look. Money supports that design quietly. At this stage, patience is no longer forced. It is natural. You are no longer chasing a future. You are building it daily. If this mindset feels different from where you started, that is growth. You are thinking longer, calmer, and clearer. Stay disciplined, stay patient, stay intentional. And if these reflections help you stay grounded and focused, stay connected with the motivational audiobook spot. Subscribe and return whenever you need clarity, calm, and long-term perspective. Because true progress is quiet, and you're already on the path. Eventually, you understand that discipline is not restriction. It is relief. Relief from chaos. Relief from regret. Relief from constant decision fatigue. When discipline is in place, life becomes lighter, not heavier. You no longer negotiate with yourself every day. The rules are already set. The habits are already chosen. This frees mental space for higher-level thinking instead of daily willpower battles. You begin to see how most financial stress comes from unpredictability. Unclear income, unclear spending, unclear goals. Clarity removes fear faster than money ever could. Another realization settles in. Wealth grows faster when ego shrinks. You listen more. You observe patterns. You adjust quietly. Pride slows learning. Humility accelerates it. You also accept that setbacks are not signals to stop. They are data points, information, feedback. You study them without emotion and move forward, smarter than before. Time becomes your ally because you stopped fighting it. You respect its pace. You let it work for you instead of demanding instant rewards. At this stage, success no longer feels urgent. It feels inevitable as long as you continue. That certainty doesn't come from confidence alone, but from repetition, from proof, from consistency. You also become comfortable saying no. No to distractions. No to shortcuts. No to opportunities that look good but don't align. Every no protects a stronger yes. Money decisions become quieter, less reactive, less impulsive. You think in years, not weeks. You optimize for sustainability, not spikes. You realize that most people don't fail financially, they exhaust themselves emotionally. You avoid that by building systems that work even when motivation is low. This is where peace and progress meet. You are no longer chasing balance. You are living in alignment. If this calm clarity is something you want to reinforce daily, stay connected with the motivational audiobook spot. Subscribe, return often, and let long-form thinking strengthen your discipline over time.